In this video, we are going to be simplifying expressions using order of operations. So keep in mind, order of operations says the first thing that you need to look for are grouping symbols or parentheses. Second, you find exponents. The third thing is to look for multiplication or division, and when you're doing that step, you'll work left to right. And the last step is addition and subtraction, again working left to right. So our first expression is 6 plus 18 divided by 3 times 4 plus 1. In this expression, I don't have a grouping symbol and I don't have exponents. But what I do have is multiplication and division. But if you notice, it's 18 divided by 3 times 4. So the division comes first when you work left to right. So first I'm just going to do the division. 18 divided by 3 is 6. And then I'm going to bring down the rest of the problem. So now my problem is 6 plus 6 times 4 plus 1. So now I'm going to do the multiplication, which is 6 times 4, which is 24. And then I'll bring down the rest of the problem. And now my problem is 6 plus 24 plus 1. So I'm just going to work left to right. When I add 6 plus 24, that's 30, plus 1 more is 31. So my end result is 31. Number 2, we have 6 times 9 minus 6 plus 3 divided by 3 squared minus 3. So I'm first just going to separate the numerator and the denominator and get each one of those down to one number, and then I'll do the final step of looking at that fraction. So I'm going to take the numerator, which is 7 times 9 minus 6 plus 3. So notice here that we do have a grouping symbol, so I need to get that down to one number. So 9 minus 6 is 3, and I need to keep those parentheses because those parentheses not only meant a grouping symbol, it also meant multiplication. So I'm going to bring down the rest of the problem. So now I have 7 times 3 minus 3. So I'll do my multiplication. 7 times 3 is 21. Bring down the rest of the problem, which is the minus 3. So 21 minus 3 is 18. So my numerator simplifies to 18. And then now let's work on the denominator. The denominator is 3 squared minus 3. So I'm going to square that 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So I have 9 minus 3, which is 6. So now my fraction is 18 divided by 6, which simplifies to the number 3. So my end result is 3. Problem 3, we have 5 plus 3 times 8 times 10 minus 8. So we have a parentheses and a bracket. So the bracket is a grouping symbol and is also meaning multiplication. So when I have brackets and parentheses, I want to start on the inside and work out. So the first thing I'm going to do is the 10 minus 8, which is 2. And I need to keep the parentheses because it's meaning multiplication. Now I'm going to bring down the rest of the problem just like it is. So now within that bracket, I have 8 times 2. So 8 times 2 is 16. And then I'm going to bring down the rest of the problem just like it is. Now I can keep the bracket or I can change it to parentheses. Regardless, it's meaning to multiply. So now remember, we always multiply before we add or subtract. So be careful. Some people will want to add 5 plus 3, then multiply. But what we want to do now is we want to multiply the 3 times 16, which is 48, and then bring down the rest of the problem. So our last step is to add 5 plus 48, which is 53. So we end up with 53 for that expression. And our last problem, number 4, is 5 cubed minus 4 times 11 minus 9 squared. All right, so we have a lot going on. Remember that we first want to get this grouping symbol down to one number. So within this grouping symbol, we have to do our exponents first. So the 9 is being squared. So 9 squared is 81. So I'm going to bring this down as 4 times 11 minus 81, and then bring down the rest of my problem. So I'm still working within the grouping symbol. So now I need to do my multiplication. 4 times 11 is 44. So this becomes 44 minus 81. And then I'll bring down the rest of my problem. Still working within my grouping symbol. So 44 minus 81 is a negative 37. So we have 5 cubed minus a negative 37. Now let's go ahead and cube the 5. So this means 5 times 5 times 5, which is 125. And this minus, when you have a negative and another negative, when you're adding them together, it changes into a positive. So it's 125 plus 37 is going to give me an end result of 162.